Back in New York City, we catch up with Spider-Man as Spider-Man is doing what Spider-Man does best, patrolling the Big Apple. As usual, Spider-Man is dealing with personal issues of his own, but Spider-Man hears a cry for help, and your friendly neighborhood spider will never ignore a cry for help. Upon responding to the person in duress, he notices something strange about the combatants he's fighting. They seem to be rather vampiristic. Now, these vampires attempt to bite Spider-Man, but Spider-Man is really that guy, so Spider-Man manages to retaliate before they can surround him and subsequently incapacitates the vampires. Now, Spider-Man traces the vampires' whereabouts to the Martinique, where he is surprised to discover a fighting ring full of vampires. As Spider-Man is conducting reconnaissance on the area, he notices one gentleman sitting in a chair with a ponytail who appears to be in charge. As Spider-Man continues to conduct reconnaissance in this area, he manages to incapacitate a vampire along the way. As Spider-Man makes his way into one of these rooms, he's surprised to find an incapacitated Blade, who it appears these vampires have been extracting blood from. As Spider-Man attempts to free Blade, he's confronted by the boss of this little vampire soiree. Now, Spider-Man attempts to engage the vampire directly, but the vampire simply laughs in his face and brutally knocks the shit out of Spider-Man and subsequently incapacitates him. Now, when Spider-Man finally wakes up, he's surprised to discover himself in the fighting cage, and this time, Spider-Man is going to be going up against Blade. Now, as these two proceed to engage each other, Spider-Man tries to reason with Blade, but in the process, Spider-Man turns into a fucking vampire and proceeds to really try to attack Blade. Now, Blade retaliates and brutally knocks the shit out of Spider-Man, and that hit was so devastating that it actually temporarily knocks some sense back into Spider-Man, bringing him back to reality. Spider-Man proceeds to try to escape, but he's swarmed by a bunch of vampire ghoul-looking motherfuckers. Now, Spider-Man does manage to grab Blade and make a tactical retreat, at which point these two manage to regroup. Blade goes on to explain to Spider-Man that the vampire they're fighting, his name is Negus, and Negus is a 2,000-year-old vampire. Now, Negus wants to unite all vampires under one banner, and the way he's turning people into vampires is by using a modified vampire hemoglobin to turn people into souped-up vampires, if only temporarily. Negus is calling this drug Fang, but Spider-Man managed to reverse the effects of Fang by using a UV bed, and this actually gives Blade an idea on how they can use it against the vampires. When we catch back up with Spider-Man and Blade, they make their way into the warehouse where Negus is manufacturing this vampire hemoglobin. Blade and Spider-Man get swarmed by a slew of vampires, but Blade makes short work of them with these UV pellets that he modified a shotgun to use that reverses the effect of Fang. Now, as Blade and Spider-Man proceed, they're subsequently confronted by Negus. Blade tries to confront Negus, but Negus subsequently knocks the shit out of Blade, then goes in full mount on that ass and tries to choke Blade out. As Negus is choking Blade out, he's trying to convert Blade to his side, but Spider-Man retaliates. But as Spider-Man tries to engage Negus, Spider-Man gets swatted aside like a little fucking bitch boy because Negus is a 2,000-year-old vampire, so any direct attacks aren't gonna work. But Spider-Man has an idea. In a last-ditch act of desperation, Spider-Man grabs one of the UV pellets off the floor and proceeds to stuff it into Negus's mouth. Now, this turns out to be super effective, and it causes Negus to burst into flames, and it forces Negus to retreat. Later, as Spider-Man and Blade regroup, they exchange one last joke before parting ways. To be continued.